What's going on, my people? Pastor E here. I wanted to make this quick video as I am on the road, and I just wanted to really share some thoughts of something I was thinking about today, and actually having a dialogue with a couple brothers earlier this morning, and I'm just really taken back by all that we are seeing around us as of recent in the news. For example, we had the and these are not uncommon things, but once in a while you hear a story that just really takes you back. Okay, so you had the two most recent killings of the two rappers. One is the Triple X, and I can't pronounce his other name, but he went by the name X, and he was a kind of underground rapper, and he was killed outside of a motorcycle shop by someone, whether or not it was gang related or whatever the case was. 20-year-old young man, underground artist, and just really sad it is to see his life taken from him, but with that being said, he was into all kinds of stuff, and that doesn't mean that his death is justified and that's okay, and I'm not saying that, but the lifestyle that he lived, it's as if he reaped what he sowed. And then you had another individual, which we didn't hear much about, and the other rapper. In fact, I don't even know his name, but apparently there were two people. And then what I wanted to really discuss here, and briefly talk with you all about, is there was a murder that had taken place, killing of a young man, teenager, in the Bronx. This young man was stabbed, and they had a machete and they were chopping him. This was in the city. This was in the Bronx, and it was over a mistaken identity, and so they actually killed the wrong person. And the fact that they came out, I believe some of the individuals who were a part of the actual killing came out and apologized, and that you can't bring the person's life back, and then to think that they apologized for killing the wrong person, but to think that they had the intent to kill in the first place is just a grim reminder that we live in a dark world, and we are we mourn with the family of this child, this teenager who apparently was wasn't a troublemaker, wanted to be a police officer, and so on and so forth, and the individual that he resembled wasn't the best individual, so on and so forth. But the reason why I wanted to make this video was, with that being said, and thinking about this topic, where was God, right? That is the question that the skeptic asks. Where was God? That's the question that the atheist asks, right? If there's a God, if there were a God, then why didn't he or couldn't he prevent this heinous, evil, and wicked event from taking place. So where was God? If God exists, then why did he permit this? Right? Why did he permit this? And you have these questions. And for the Christian, right? For the person who does believe in God, and not just any vague God, but God, right? The God of the Bible, revealed through Jesus Christ, We ask the question in our heart of hearts, God, you could have prevented this, Lord. Where were you? And quite frankly, we do not have all the answers. Now, when I say we don't have all the answers, we have some answers, okay? Where was God? God was there. God is everywhere. We know that from the Word of God. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, right? Everything belongs to the Lord, and the Lord sees everything and knows everything, and nothing escapes his sight. But as we think about this topic even a little further in detail, we ask the question, where was God? And we conclude that God was there, right? Where else could God have been? God is God. He's everywhere. He exists, and he's omnipresent, and he's all-knowing, right? He was there. So if he was there, what was his disposition? Well, God is not a man like we are. He's a spirit. But if we can hear the story, and we can see the pain and the anguish and the grief, then the God who has perfect control of his emotions, because God is the creator of emotions, and so God can be grieved, God can rejoice, and so God grieved, right? God grieves. God is broken, right? But not in the sense where he doesn't have control of his faculties, okay? But he's grieved. Right? Grieved of the evil, right? It says in Genesis, he's grieved that he made man. Right? There's this perfect, grasp of God's emotional faculty and all that. So that being said, right? So God grieves, right? God grieves at scenarios like this. And we know just some other things. We know that man is not as wicked and evil, or the evil that man does is restrained, right, by God. Let's do that. The evil that men do is restrained by God, and the depth and the height and the width of evil in the world in many cases is only seen by God. That is to say, there are infinite amount of tragic and evil events that have taken place and take place that God knows about and no one else does. So I want to stop here and just kind of use this first part of the video as an introduction to what I want to talk about next, and that is in what way does God's sovereignty play a role in evil events that take place in life? Is God partially involved? Is God fully involved? Is God hands off? Does God ordain these things to take place? Is God just permitting things like this to take place? I'd like to hear back from you. I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel, The Proverbial Life. Please subscribe, share this video. But I'm also going to place this on social media. I'll put this on Facebook. Leave a comment behind. If you have any questions or thoughts or comments, you can send me an email at theproverbiallife82@gmail.com. Again, theproverbiallife82@gmail.com. And I want to hear from you. You know, where do you think God was when this young man was hacked to pieces? Where do you think God was? How do you think God felt? Do you think God felt anything? What role does God's sovereignty play in events like this? Did God simply permit it to take place? Did God ordain it to take place? If he ordained it to take place, then is God evil? Right? God forbid, right? But I want to hear from you. Let's talk. Let's dialogue. Again, The Proverbial Life 82@gmail.com. If you have any questions you'd like to ask, you can also find this, as I mentioned earlier, on our YouTube channel, The Proverbial Life, or you can go to our Facebook page and leave a comment right underneath this video. I would love to hear back from you. Signing off, grace and peace. It's Pastor E, The Proverbial Life. God bless.